Announcing the arrival of the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, alongside our very respected dignitaries here with us this afternoon. While still standing, we'll take the first stanza of our national anthem to begin today's proceedings. At the count of 2, we sing the national anthem. 1, 2, 9. While still standing, we'll take the third stanza of our national anthem as our opening prayer. At the count of 2, 1, 2. O God of all creations, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. May God help us as a nation. Amen. You may please be seated. The Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, Fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, most greet you especially this afternoon. The Honorable Minister of Solid Mineral Development, Dr. Dili Alake, most greet you especially, sir. The Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Nanuga, welcome. The Special Advisor to the President on Public Communication and Orientation, Chief Sunday Dari, welcome you, sir. The Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Bodo Chinasa Inam. The Director General of the Nigerian Press Council, Chief Dili Izuga, welcome you especially. Representative of the other Director Generals here present, Senior Special Assistants to the President here present, partners of the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, to mention the presence of the President and Chairman of Council of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Dr. Ike Neliako, respected directors of the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It's my singular honor and privilege to welcome each and every one of us to today's press conference to be addressed by the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation. Very distinguished guests, without wasting any much time, at this time I'll welcome on the Honorable Minister will give his speech, and after which we know the order of proceedings. We'll take questions from the members of the press, aligned with the speech of the Honorable Minister, and then we'll depart from here accordingly. With that said, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this time it's my privilege to invite the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, to please address the press. Please a round of applause for him as he comes forward.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister Solid Minerals Development, my brother, Chief Harry Dele Alake, veteran of this profession. The Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, another veteran, Bayo Onanuga. he has promised that he is not going to issue any tweet until we finish this conference. The special advisor to the president on information, media, and public communication, another veteran, Chief Sunday Dare, also former Minister of the Federal Republic. My own permanent secretary, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Information and National Administration, Mr. Chinasa, and the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Press Council, Dr. Dili Ezwaga. We have also Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Special Duties here present, Mr. Tunde Rahman. We have the Managing Director, actually, of the News Agency of Nigeria, the only Ali M. Ali is here. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media, Abdulaziz. Senior Special Assistant to the President, Mr. Tope Ajayi. Senior Special Assistant to the President, Fred. I don't know whether there are other special assistants here, but let me see I can see Special Assistant to the President on Digital, Mr. Ortega Ogra the Tiger. Directors of the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation. I'm also seeing the President of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations here, Dr. Ike Neliaku. I'm seeing the former President of African Public Relations Association, Mr. Yomi Badejo Okusaya. The Executive Director of Academy Specs, Professor Ike Okechukwu. And another veteran and former Vice President of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Dr. Muhammad Awal Haruna. The list of all the big men here is long, so permit me to cut the protocol at this point. But before I begin, let me congratulate all Nigerians. About 2 hours ago, the General Assembly of the United Nations Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, meeting in Samarkand in Uzbekistan, granted the final hosting right to Nigeria for the first ever Media and Information Literacy Center to be hosted anywhere in any part of the world. This is indeed a great achievement for Nigeria and for Africa. I know when the journey towards bidding for the hosting right started about 3 years ago, even before my appointment as Honorable Minister. It has been a very tedious one. And when I came in the last 2 years, with the great support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who called me after I had briefed him and said, whatever we needed to ensure that the hosting right is granted to Nigeria, he is ready. And all through this journey, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been extremely supportive. And so we are very grateful to Mr. President for that feat. This is not a small one. At a time that Nigeria may be facing some media attention for some other reason, today we can say that the world actually recognizes the place of Nigeria on the global stage. This is indeed a great one. Also recall that about 3 weeks ago, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations unveiled the WPRF, that is the World Public Relations Forum, that is coming to Nigeria next year. What this means is that all leading public relations practitioners from all over the world are going to come to Nigeria next year. The International Press Institute has also agreed to hold its executive board meeting in Nigeria next year. These are all good things happening to our country, in addition to so many other things happening from other parts of the world. Gentlemen and ladies of the press, let me welcome you once again to this briefing. And I must appreciate you for turning out in large numbers, even at a very short notice. This, to me, goes a long way to indicate the seriousness and the commitment of the Nigerian media towards the Nigerian project. We are indeed very grateful for your presence. The government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is well appraised of the level of anxiety created by the designation of our country as a country of particular concern, or CPC, by the US government, and the threats of military action by the President of the United States, following a wrong perception and misrepresentation of the security challenges in our country. The federal government has always recognized the security challenges that have beset our country since 2009 with the advent of Boko Haram and other criminal elements. Let me state at the outset that the government and people of Nigeria, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, have taken note of the position of the government of the United States of America on Nigeria over the alleged violations of religious freedom here. Nigeria faces long-standing security challenges that have impacted Christians and Muslims alike, and we mourn every loss of life, knowing that every single loss of life is one too many for this country. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is more than determined to confront and end these security challenges. Since May of 2023, when he took office, Nigeria's security agencies have neutralized more than 13,500 terrorists through sustained operations, and they have arrested over 17,000 suspects who are now undergoing interrogation and prosecution for various offenses. Also, more than 9,800 victims abducted by these terrorist elements, including women and children, have been rescued and have been reintegrated with their families. It is important to restate that the menace of terrorism in Nigeria does not exclusively target any religious or ethnic group. As in many parts of the world, extremism is mindless and it is blind to religion, to class, and to any tribe. It is a war against all peace-loving Nigerians and against the unity and progress of our great country. Therefore, any narrative suggesting that the Nigerian state is failing to take action against religious attacks is based on misinformation or faulty data. Several leading personnel of the very dedicated armed forces of Nigeria and the country's intelligence agencies are Christians working and succeeding alongside their Muslim colleagues in the fight against extremists and criminals waging war against our country and against our values. Also, Nigeria's security challenge cannot be fully understood without acknowledging the volatile security situation in the Sahel region and complicating factors such as the collapse of Libya over a decade ago, flooding the region with terrorist elements. This has also led to the illegal importation of illegal weapons and firearms into Nigeria. The socio-economic dimension of the conflict in the north central especially in Plateau and Benue State, was exacerbated by the age-long farmers-herders violent clashes, which is made worse by issues of climate change and desertification. In this regard, President Tinubu is working studiously to address the economic context in addition to creating the Ministries of Regional Development and Livestock Development, which have changed the design and framework of the way people have access to economic benefits in these areas. The hope of the administration is that this will stimulate rural economic independence and also interdependence amongst people. This, of course, is intended to provide that soft, non-kinetic approach to ensure that issues of terrorism, extremism related to these conflicts are addressed once and for all. The recent change in service chiefs by the president, which, by the way, happened even before this designation by the United States of America, and the subsequent realignment within the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies, reflect President Bola Tinubu's determination to reinvigorate Nigeria's security architecture. This strategic overhaul is designed to infuse fresh energy, innovation, and accountability into our national defense and intelligence systems. The mission is to deliver better results, strengthen coordination among the services, and stamp out terrorism and violent crime in every part of Nigeria. The President's directive is unequivocal to the armed forces. He said that every inch of the Nigerian territory must be secured, and every citizen must live free of fear wherever they may find themselves in this country. This regional dimension underscores why Nigeria continues to champion greater cooperation within the ECOWAS sub-region, the African Union, and with other international partners, including the United States of America, to stabilize the Sahel region and cut off transnational lifelines for terrorism to thrive. Our military and other security agencies are winning the war on terrorism, and the results in the past years, and most especially in the last 2 years of the Tinubu leadership, are real, and they are also remarkable. Of course, we know that challenges continue to exist, and the president is not shying away or running away from them. Rather, they are being confronted headlong to ensure that we all live a country that is free from this criminal activity. We have made stringent efforts in curtailing access to small arms and light weapons by non-state actors. Security agencies have recovered and destroyed over 5,000 military-grade rifles. They have also intercepted over 20 gun-running networks in the past few months. This administration has now made multi-million-dollar investments in modernized equipment for our security agencies and has increased the defense and security budget to ensure that they carry their duty more efficiently. The president has always given the military his absolute support, and I assure you that there is the political will to remove the last vestiges of the menace of terrorism in our country. In the last 2 years, significant progress, to give you an example, has been made in the war against terrorism across the Northwest, Northeast, Southeast, North Central, and other parts of this country. Within this period, the number of terrorism-related attacks has plummeted. In March, a report, and I want you to listen to this. In March this year, a report by the Global Terrorism Index indicated that terrorist attacks were at their lowest in over a decade in Nigeria. The Nigerian government did not say this. It is also the international community represented by the Global Terrorism Index that has given out this information. In the last 8 months, the Nigerian military, like I said, have neutralized over 592 terrorists in Borno State alone. Many of them, have been sent to their own world beyond. Over 11,200 hostages have been freed, 11,200 hostages, and this is still going on. More importantly, over 124 insurgents and their families have surrendered. They have handed over more than 11,000 weapons to the security agencies. In the Northwest, especially in Zamfara and Kaduna, 11,250 hostages have been freed. And some of the terror leaders that have made life very unbearable for people there have been neutralized. They include Ali Kachalla, Boderi, Halilu Sububu, and many others. All these have been sent to where they belong. Only this August, the military intercepted and killed in one operation over 400 armed bandits who had conveyed to attack a village in Zamfara. In the southeastern part of the country, terror attacks have been reduced by almost 80% in the last 2 years through the joint effort of our security agencies. In the north central, many of these criminal elements have been neutralized. Many arrests have been made. The government is ratcheting up its effort to ensure that more robust security in the north central is provided as new threats continue to emerge. Let us also note that less than 2 months ago, 2 internationally acclaimed terrorism suspects, Mahmoud Muhammad Usman and one Abubakar Abba, who are wanted not just by Nigeria, they are wanted by the international community, including the United States, are currently undergoing prosecution after their arrest by a great coordination by our security agencies and the armed forces. The two are believed to be the leaders of Jama'atu Ansar Muslimina fi Bidali Sudan, commonly known as Ansaru. It is Nigeria's Al-Qaeda affiliate. They were captured, like I said, in a high-risk, intelligence-led counter-terrorism operation only a few months ago, and this has been welcomed by the international community. The arrests of these people have marked a turning point in our ongoing operations against terrorism. Usman, the self-styled emir of Ansaru, allegedly coordinated various terrorist sleeper cells across Nigeria. He is also believed to have masterminded several high-profile kidnappings and robberies, the process of which were used to finance terrorism over the years. That has been cut off by this singular operation. And Abba, Usman's chief of staff and deputy, is alleged to have led the so-called Mahmudawa cells, which operated around the Kainji National Park, located on the border between the states of Niger and Kwara, as well as on the border with Niger, with Benin Republic. Another terror suspect, Khalid Al-Barnawi, accused of being the mastermind of the August 26, 2011 bombing of the UN complex in Abuja, in which 20 people were killed and more than 70 others injured, is also facing prosecution. Captured in 2016, Al-Barnawi is facing trial along with 4 other terror suspects, Mohammed Bashir Saleh, Umar Mohammed Bello, also known as Detti, Mohammed Salisu, and Yakubu Nuhu, also known as Bello Meshayi. On August 11, 5 terror suspects were arraigned before a federal high court in Abuja over their alleged involvement in the June 5, 2022 attack on the St. Francis Catholic Church in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria. Also undergoing trial as the suspect arrested in connection with the Yelwata massacre. You remember the Benue incident in Yelwata in Benue State, in Guma local government area on June 13 this year, 2025, where dozens of people were killed and about 107 were injured. This drew worldwide condemnation. On June 24, after a sweeping operation, 26 suspects in connection with this massacre were arrested. In August of this year, terrorism-related charges were filed before the Federal High Court in Abuja against these suspects. There are hundreds of other suspects under the military's protective custody whose cases are being handled by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation in accordance with our laws. So far, 125 of the terrorists have already been convicted. The various arrests and trials of terrorism suspects show that Nigeria's security agencies have been diligent in dealing with the perpetrators of terror in the country. Of course, we recognize that more needs to be done to secure Nigeria, and that is why the president is working assiduously and issuing directive to the new service chiefs to ensure that they indeed wipe out the remnants of these criminal elements. We shall continue to make the suspects accountable for disrupting the peace of our country in consonance with the rule of law. The federal government will not relent until the remnants of these criminal elements and perpetrators are permanently removed from our country. The government of Nigeria remains open and willing to work closely with any member of the international community, including the United States of America and other nations and partners, to achieve our shared goal. That is the complete elimination of terrorism and criminal violence extremists on the Nigerian soil. Mr. President has vowed and he's continued to work to ensure that wherever they are, all those that are making Nigeria unsafe in this country are permanently removed from this country. And we are having a great march in that direction. The cooperation between Nigeria and the United States of America has already resulted in the delivery of a dozen Super Tucano aircraft, which have been of tremendous impact in the anti-insurgency fight, with another dozen AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters in the process of being acquired by the Nigerian Air Force. We call on our American friends and partners to approach the Nigerian situation with an understanding of its complex realities. Nigeria is a vast, multi-ethnic, multi-religious nation making significant strides in economic reform and embossing of a security architecture. We believe that constructive engagement is the surest and most effective way to achieve peace and stability, not only in Nigeria, but in any part of the world. Nigeria welcomes dialogue, welcomes cooperation, we also welcome support from foreign nations, including the United States of America, in addressing our shared security concerns. We warmly invite all our partners, both domestic and international, to join us in this noble endeavor, anchored on trust, on collaboration, and also based on mutual respect. The President Tinubu administration remains ever faithful and committed to its duty of securing our nation and its people. We want to assure Nigeria and Nigeria that the country is indeed in capable and steady hands under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is leading the charge to boost our economy, to strengthen our military and intelligence capabilities, and lead the country towards greater and shared prosperity for everyone. On the current misreading and misjudging of the reality of Nigeria's true security situation by the United States, President Tinubu is taking the lead to resolve all areas of misunderstanding through all available diplomatic and political channels, just as the federal government welcomes more collaboration, assistance, and partnership with all our foreign partners, including the United States of America. Nigeria, indeed, is not running away from the fact that, yes,